Hey guys, it's Colin again with R2R coming at you with Safety Saturday. That's right, Safety Saturday, where we discuss things safety related. Of course, with all exercises at home, we have to make sure that the demonstration weapons are empty, safe, and clear. You'll notice there's no magazine in my assault rifle here. We're open and clear. And with the pistol, keeping it pointed in a safe direction, no magazine here, and chamber's clear, okay? So, muzzle safety. We talked about this in the first podcast this week. It's something about which I am passionate and believe that everybody should be. So let's talk about starting with the rifle. I've got a 2-point sling here that keeps the rifle in a position where I can quickly get to it should I need to deploy it, but also when I'm not using it, it is pointed at the ground and at an angle so I'm not muzzling my own feet or legs. And, you know, in a situation where you might be around other combatants that are on your side, in this way we can turn and address them or turn around and check your six, and it keeps the weapon pointed in a direction that doesn't sweep anybody as you turn around. So with the rifle, it's pretty straightforward, so to speak. It's a common thing for people to really only pay attention to muzzle safety when they are holding a weapon, but muzzle safety is also extremely important when you put one down, say when you're on the range. So when we're on the range, we bring a table. I've mentioned a couple of times in the podcast and maybe in some of the videos that where we shoot is not actually an official range. So we kind of have to set up our own thing, make our own rules, and do our own safety briefings to make sure that everybody stays safe and we come home without any extra holes, so to speak, right? So you're not shooting the AR and you want to set it down, okay? We always set it down with the muzzle pointed downrange. Always. Always open, always clear, always unloaded, and always safe, right? So set it down, pointed downrange. I don't know if that's in frame, but it doesn't matter. When a weapon is pointed downrange, even if it's sitting still, we have to remember the number one rule of gun safety, which is you always treat a gun as if it's loaded. Always treat a gun as if it's loaded, even if you know damn well it isn't, which you should, because you should also know the state of your firearm at all times. But we treat them as they're loaded. And the only time that you would want to get in front of the muzzle of a gun is if you know damn well it is open and safe. And an example of that would be when you want to go downrange and set up your targets. So you don't just want to walk out willy-nilly across the line. So something that I recommend that we do when we're out shooting is the person who intends to cross the line and walk downrange yells the word downrange. And then everybody else in the party acknowledges that by repeating the word back, downrange. So now we all know that we're going downrange. And I said this on the podcast too. As the administrator, there's always usually one person who's sort of running the show. He's maybe the guy who owns the guns or whatever. Every responsible shooter should check their weapons when they hear the word downrange, but nobody goes across the line until nobody's holding a weapon. We've checked them all to make sure that they're open, empty, and safe. So, and that time should be the only time where it's okay to put yourself in front of the muzzle of a weapon, right? So the rest of the time, we're paying attention to muzzle safety. Now, muzzle safety is about protecting everybody, right? But that includes yourself. And there has been a lot of times where I have caught somebody muzzling themselves, not even knowing it. I did it once too. So I have a tack light that I keep on my Glock. It's not attached to the Glock right now because I don't have a holster yet that can accommodate it. But I was on the range and I was bragging about this light, which if you listen to the podcast, you know I really like. And I was demonstrating how bright it was. And I turned on the light and I put my hand in front of the weapon to show how bright it was. And the guy I was showing was like, dude, you just muzzled your own hand like 3 times. What are you doing? And I didn't even realize it. It's because there's, especially if you're having fun out there, which you should be, there's a bit of a cavalier type of thing that takes over and people stop paying attention to it, which is why I have been preaching since I got started in this, that it has to be automatic. It has to be a state of mind. You have to always be aware. And I think that, if you are careful and diligent and disciplined about this, then you eventually do graduate to where it's a state of mind. But it starts with the simple exercises, with the correct draw. So if you're out on the range and you're drawing from the holster, one of the most important parts about having the correct draw is to prevent from muzzling anybody that, other than the guy you're trying to shoot, I guess, So we'll go over the 5 steps to the correct draw right now. Step 1 is coming straight up and out of the holster and maybe even angling a little bit away from your foot, right? Because if you're in a fight and you're getting ready, you're going to be down and athletic. So up and out, okay? And then the rotate, that's step 2. Your support hand should be waiting for step 3, which is to bring your hands together. Step 4 is point, and of course step 5 is to fire, right? So again, we'll do that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fire, right? Eventually, if you get, to the point where you're practicing it, it kind of is really more like 1, 2, 3. But start with the 5 steps, because you'll notice with these 5 steps, I have not muzzled myself once at all, right? And that protects it. And I do have a horror story of a guy with a hair trigger Glock. A guy put hundreds and hundreds of dollars into getting this super nice gun with the perfect action on the trigger, but he muzzled his leg on the way back into the holster and put a pill right by his knee and drew a line inside his leg and finally came to rest at his ankle. He got a helicopter ride that day. I didn't see it personally, my family member did, but I feel like I was there. It's pretty vivid and it's pretty scary, and it's important to remember stories like that so you don't end up being the guy who does it yourself. The other thing that I wanted to discuss was going back to the holster. So the only time that I've ever seen anybody who has any type of a good reason to go back to the holster really quickly is if for some reason you need to switch to your long gun or, whatever you have up here, like the 3-gun guys, the John Wick style stuff. But really, if you're drawing from a holster, what is the reason that you would be putting the weapon back into the holster? It's because the fight's over, right? So there's no reason to go back real quick, and that's how accidents happen. That's how accidents happen. This isn't the movies, right? So you've finished the fight, your assailant is either down or he's run away, whatever. Slow and safe, man. Look at your holster. Put it back slowly and kind of focus on it, because it's these movie guys that go back real quick like that end up pop. So again, if you want to check out the podcast where we discuss this a little more in depth, go to rookie2reaper.com, click on podcast. That's rookie, the number 2, Reaper, click on podcast, check it out. It's my first one, and shooting is not the only thing I'm a rookie at, but it's still pretty good. People are telling me that it's nice, so go ahead and check it out. And as always, please email me if you have any thoughts on this, if you want to get engaged in discussion, if I missed something, if you're an experienced individual and you think that you have a thought that I didn't address or something that I can learn from you, I would love it if you would go ahead and just send me a note. That's Colin, COLIN, at rookie2reaper.com. That's me signing off with the Muzzle Safety Saturday. As always, stay vigilant and have a great weekend.